How's it going, everyone? It is crazy what just came out. This is actually, along with nations buying, this is the thing that I've been saying for a year, maybe even longer. It'd be the most bullish thing, and Blackrock just said it. Like, they said they're going to do it. They said they're going to put Bitcoin in essentially retirement portfolios. This is kind of crazy news. It's not exactly like a target date fund, but it's used in the same way. I want to talk about that. This is coming from the CIO over at BlackRock. This is the CIO of ETF and index investments. So let's play that clip. But first, if you want to see more videos like this, hit subscribe. If you want free crypto, you can sign up for Margex underneath the video. We continue to see more airdrops. The $5 million airdrop just finished. You can claim that airdrop if you go over to Margex. And if you want to trade on Margex, if you want to get this ready for the next airdrop, or if you just want to trade in general, there's a link underneath the video. So definitely check that out. You can use all different kinds of assets as collateral. This is the only platform that I know that you can do that. So if you trade the Solana chart, you can use Bitcoin or USDT or Ethereum as collateral and get paid in that other asset. Now, let's look at what's happening right now. We saw a fifth rejection of this trend line. Okay. We saw Bitcoin go up to 70, a little bit more than 70. Now it's down at 66,200. A lot of people are going to get bearish. I see bearish accounts already talking about how Bitcoin's going to go into a crash. Keep in mind, this is completely normal. Even if we break through this, like, that's not unprecedented to see a trend line that we've hit 4 times already, get rejected, consolidate, and then make another move up. That's completely normal. Now, I will say, this morning on our video, I issued a warning. I said, hey, Will Clemente says in the short term, it's a bit concerning to see so many people suddenly become so interested in internet coins. Basically, it's showing that open interest moved up, which means that there are more people taking bets on the market. This doesn't necessarily imply long or short, but the fact is we were moving up before this. We were at 70,000. So the fact is it was probably longs. And since then, Will Clemente says, and just like that, open interest is down 1.3 billion in 12 hours, and it's looking better now, like looking less leveraged. So as I said in this morning's video, like, this was a concern, and it played out almost perfectly. Kind of crazy how well that worked. If you didn't see that video, you can go watch it. This was just a small portion of the video. But we have some good news. Okay, Bitcoin's down, but the fundamentals and the hype continue to move in the right direction. Yesterday, I covered how Louisiana and Texas are considering making a Bitcoin a strategic reserve asset, or at least people are saying that they should. For example, I believe it was Riot, one of their high ups there, said that Texas should be looking at that. And I believe it was the Louisiana governor who said that they were already looking at doing that. Now, North Carolina's lieutenant governor endorses Trump's Bitcoin reserve strategy for the USA. Maybe they're next as well. But let's get into the big piece of news. BlackRock CIO of ETF and index investments, Samara Cohen, discusses the ETH ETF and expects we'll see an allocation of crypto ETFs in model portfolios by the end of this year and into 2025. This is actually crazy. I will say at the very end, she talks about how Solana ETFs, they're not considering right now. That's exactly what they would say if they didn't want everyone and their brother to front run them, right? If they think it's going to take 6 months or a year, they would say that we're not interested. But as soon as they can get approval, they'll say they're interested, right? So very interesting. Let's play the clip.
People always ask me, well, aren't these just flows coming out of there into the other ones? Because net positive, it's actually a little less than zero for these. Or are there new people coming into your fund?
Look, we're 1 week in, Eric, but I think you raise a really important point. This was a strong launch, but this is a story in the early days about access and finding the optimum access points for investors who want Ethereum in their portfolios. And so we were actually, if you look at trading volumes, because it's important to look at both, ETH was, I think, 40% of new assets gathered, but 25% of trading volumes, because there has been a lot of outflows, not just from the other Ethereum higher priced ETF product, but probably also from proxy vehicles, because investors really want to get their ETH exposure, especially if they're going to use it in the context of an overall portfolio in an ecosystem they have confidence in.
And now another thing a lot of people are looking for, the next sort of catalyst will be these big wirehouses, Morgan Stanley, Wells Fargo, UBS. They've got trillions of advisor assets. Where are they at in terms of onboarding these ETFs and even soliciting them?
Yeah, that is exactly what I think will be the story of this year and next year. They are doing their jobs, and their job is risk analytics, due diligence, and really looking at, and they look at them very differently, of course, because, as we know, Bitcoin and ETH are two very different asset classes with different use cases, but looking at their role in the portfolio, and particularly their utility as portfolio diversifiers. And I think what will then happen towards the end of this year and into next year is we will see allocations made in model portfolios, which will give us much more of a steer as to how investors are using them.
Has Blackrock put the crypto ETFs into your own model portfolios?
So our not into our model portfolios, and all of our model allocations and also all of our holdings period are generally public. So you can see where we have allocations, either very small allocations, either to crypto or crypto futures or crypto ETFs.
And I am curious. I mean, you've got Bitcoin, you've got Ether, you're leading the market there. Are you done? Are we going to see a BlackRock Solana ETF, for example? What's next?
Not in the near term. So we really look at the investability to see what meets the criteria, what meets the bar to be delivered in an ETF. And for us right now, both between investability considerations and also what we hear from our clients, Bitcoin and ETH definitely meet that bar. I think it will be a while before we see anything else.
Okay, so really interesting stuff there. And you might not have caught it, but she expects that we're going to see crypto ETFs in model portfolios by the end of this year and into 2025. Now, what are model portfolios exactly? Well, these are portfolios managed and customized by BlackRock to help fit a client's risk profile and to achieve a range of outcomes. They're managed with a disciplined approach and have the ability to rebalance in difficult markets, helping the portfolio stay a bit more resilient. They have growth portfolios, income portfolios, and capital preservation portfolios. And they have $5 trillion in model portfolios. Now, I've talked about something like this before. I've talked about how really the most important thing, or the next massive catalyst after or maybe before nations announcing that they're going to buy, is that Bitcoin's going to be put in retirement accounts, specifically target date funds. Model portfolios are very similar, / maybe even the same in a lot of circumstances. The reason I say target date funds is, at the companies I've worked at, when you start a 401k, they put you in with target date funds, right? If you're a certain age, they'll say, okay, maybe you're going to retire in 2060 or 2065 or 2055, and they'll automatically put you in the target date fund for that age, which basically gives you a portfolio that is sufficient for someone of that age trying to retire at a certain time. So as time goes on, they might reallocate you to have less equity and maybe more bond or more fixed income. Now, this is basically the same thing. A model portfolio is built depending on how you want it. Do you want more income, growth, capital preservation, based probably on your age and your risk profile? So they are literally talking about making these portfolios include Bitcoin. Now, whether that's a 0.1% weighting or a 1% weighting or a 5% weighting, it's probably going to change over time, but just having that included, having that news go out that BlackRock included Bitcoin in 6 more retirement accounts or retirement portfolios is going to be big news. And that's coming in 6 months to a year around the same time that we're seeing rates get cut. Now, of course, the price of Bitcoin has gone down through the day, but I think we need to look a little bit further down the road, not just at what's happening right now, not freaking out because we fell 6% in a day. But looking at the big picture, we should continue to appreciate with every good piece of news that comes out. Right now, we have been rejected at a very key level. You can see pretty much the exact downtrend line, but this would be pretty normal. Even if we fall down further or if we come back up, like this is expected. We've gotten rejected by this line 4 times before this. It would make sense for us to hit a bit of resistance. So maybe we continue moving up, maybe we continue falling down, but over long term, we continue to get more and more good news for Bitcoin and for crypto. Let me know your thoughts on all this underneath the video. In case you do want to trade crypto, there's a link underneath the video to MargeX and to CoinW. Definitely check those out. Thank you so much, and I'll see you in the next video.